Welcome to Ghostly. So, Rebecca, I thought we'd just start this off by talking about something ghostly that happened to us since our last ghostly episode.
Oh, Pat, it was a little creepy.
Do you want to tell them about it?
Okay, so we were at a party with other podcast people.
A bonfire.
Yes.
Some podcast people, some not podcast people.
That's true. I guess there are some people that were there that were not podcast people, but a lot of them were.
Yes.
Anyway, so we roasted marshmallows, all the classic fall things. Or summer, really, I guess. Summer, my brain is already to fall. Anyways, so we were leaving said party, and everyone at the party was at the bonfire. There was not a person that was at the party that wasn't at the bonfire that we had just left. And as we were leaving, this like kind of, I don't know, not really a farm, but it was out in the middle of nowhere surrounded by farms. So it kind of felt farmish. We were approaching this building and something said, hello.
Yeah.
And then that was it. No one jumped out. No one like, ha 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 ha, that was me.
Mm-hmm.
Like nothing.
Well, I laughed and then I said hello, but it never replied back to me.
No. Like, and it was clear. It wasn't like, oh, that was wind that just sounded like the word hello. Like,
yeah.
It said hello.
And the strangest thing was it sounded like one of the people that were at the bonfire. It sounded like her voice saying
it did.
But she was still talking to somebody else behind us. Like,
right.
Probably like 100 feet behind us.
Oh, yeah. Not close.
Yeah, it was really crazy. So I'm not going to lie, it was a little creepy.
Yeah.
But nothing else happened, so I don't know,
I'm just saying I'm glad I don't live there.
Yeah.
Because there's something there.
Okay.
It was freaky.
Well, maybe we need to bring out some EVPs or something next time.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right. I don't think that he would support that, though.
No. That's probably true.
The person that was hosting the party, Nick Mataragas, is a hardcore skeptic. He's definitely #Team Skeptic. Probably more #Team Skeptic than even me.
Yes, I think that's probably true.
It's possible.
Yeah.
In other ghostly news, we found out the date and time that we will be at Elgin Fringe Festival. It'll be Saturday, September 14th at 6 p.m. And we will be bringing some special friends from Bob After Dark with us.
Yay.
Yeah. If you're in the area, it would be great to have you come out to the show and be part of it with some questions or feedback. And if not, we will, of course, put it up here as an episode.
Yep. So this is Elgin Fringe Festival in Elgin, Illinois. Because,
Illinois.
For us, we're like, it's in Elgin.
Yeah,
everyone knows.
Yeah, not Elgin, North Dakota, right?
Right. So it's a suburb of Chicago.
Yes.
It's where my mom grew up, and I still have some family there. So I'm very excited to be able to go there. I know the town and a city, really.
Yes.
And it's gonna be fun.
It is going to be fun, and we will be telling some Elgin-specific ghost stories.
Yes, definitely.
So we're really excited about that.
Yeah, and it's actually, at least to see us, it's a pretty cheap date night. It's a couple bucks to get into the festival itself, and then we are charging $0 to get into our show.
Absolutely.
Some of the other shows might charge a couple bucks to get in
How
to see
dare
them.
they?
I know, right? What do
No,
they think
they
they
deserve
are?
it.
No, they're artists. They need money.
Yeah, definitely support the local artists.
Definitely.
Yeah.
But can I tell you, one thing that I'm super excited about is that we're going to be at the Blue Box Cafe.
Yes.
And it's called the Blue Box Cafe.
Why?
Doctor Who.
Ooh.
It's a Doctor Who themed coffee shop.
Who?
The Doctor.
The Doctor.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Doctor Who is a TV show that sci-fi nerds like me enjoy.
Oh yeah, I'm not a nerd, so I
I'm the nerd, and
I am probably more of a nerd than you are, actually.
Ooh, we could have a nerd off. But anyway, so I'm super super excited. So if you're a Doctor Who fan, you should also come check it out just for that.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So today we have a really great episode for you, filled with all the spookiness you could imagine in a ghostly episode.
Yeah. No. there's ghostly episodes and then there's ghostly episodes. This is definitely a ghostly episode.
Is it a ghostly episode or a ghostly?
Ghostly. It's
Okay.
filled with ghosts. Yes.
Hello. Okay, so we will be talking about Marie Laveau, the Voodoo Queen of New Orleans.
Woohoo.
But first, let's talk about last week's episode a little bit. How did we do with the polls?
Well, we had a fair number of votes.
Oh, okay. That's always good, right?
Yes, it is. So the question was, is Chicago haunted by those who lost their lives in the Eastland disaster?
That's a pretty fair question, I would say.
31% said yes, the ghosts are there.
Whoa.
69% said no.
Wow. I won another one?
Yes.
I didn't even debate
the
last
skeptics
time.
believed.
We didn't even have a debate.
You were,
So maybe I should just be quiet the whole episode and then I'll win every single time.
Well, maybe Tony did your work for you.
Oh,
He
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
secretly planted.
Tony's really good, but he's #Team Believer, and in fact,
I don't know that he is.
He voted on that one that he was #Team Believer.
So those of you that, were skeptical, I don't know what you're thinking, because the guy who does these tours all the time thinks that there's ghosts.
Yeah. So I want to thank you, #Team Skeptic, for coming through again this week for me. But remember, it's not just about who wins. It's about thinking things out and questioning everything.
Yes. But come on, #Team Believers. I know that you're being lazy about voting because you think we always win. No, we don't always win. We've lost 2 in a row. So come on out.
Okay.
Vote. Friday or Saturday. I'm thinking Saturday. I'm going to put out that poll because I think that's the best day.
Yeah.
And
you blamed it on it coming out Friday.
I'm blaming it on that, but show me
The money.
that you believe.
Oh.
I think after today, this episode.
If there was going to be one story that I would believe in, I don't know. This one is very, very compelling.
Yeah.
Especially New Orleans. We're going to get into all that, though.
Anyway.
So we have a little format change for Ghostly.
Yes.
We decided that we're going to start doing the ghost story before the history because it just kind of makes sense. I mean, we're a ghostly podcast, right?
Yeah. So we want to get that ghost stuff started.
Yeah. Let's get it started.
Yeah.
So, Rebecca, are you ready to tell us a spooky Marie Laveau story?
I am.
All right.
So this is not, this is, again, me writing up a ghost story, kind of an homage.
So like how most ghost stories are made by somebody just making it up?
Uh-huh. This is an homage to the real stories that have been told by people out there.
Okay.
Just kind of set the mood.
Set it.
Okay. You and your friends have come to New Orleans to celebrate. It's someone's birthday and someone else just finished a degree. You're out every night on Bourbon Street, drinking and having fun with everyone else. Then one night, you see a woman walking calmly among the boisterous crowd. She has a basket full of trinkets and little bags. You ask her about the bags. She says they are gree-gree bags. Magical substances. Help you get your wish. Would you like one? You don't know why, but you just can't say no to her. She walks away before you can even pay her for it. And when you look up, she's gone, faded into the night. You put the bag in your pocket and soon forget about it and the woman as you party the night away. The next day, you find the bag in your pocket and decide to take a walk. You don't have a plan, just start walking to explore the city. As you walk down St. Anne Street, you suddenly feel compelled to stop in front of an old house, though they're all old here. You take out your bag, hold it tight in your hand, and think about that dream of yours, closing your eyes and meditating on your wish coming true. When you open your eyes, the woman from the night before is sitting on the porch, a black cat on her lap. She stares right into your soul, nods her head, and slowly fades away.
Wow. Okay. So that was a good ghost story, though, right?
Yeah, I hope so.
Wasn't
wrote it.
too scary or anything.
No, but a little scary though.
Yeah.
I mean, this is the kind of thing people, we'll talk about. So like little parts of different ones, but I put it together.
You put it all together, summed it all up into one.
Yep.
Just to give them a little bit before the debate.
Yeah. Who is this woman?
Yeah. Well, we're going to talk about that right after we take a short break.
Sounds good.
Hey, Rebecca, guess what?
What's that?
Well, you know how we want Ghostly to not only tell and debate great stories, but also to give back to those in need?
We do.
Yeah, well, I've discovered this new app called Podcoin that lets you donate to charities with a currency you earn just for listening to our podcast or any podcast.
That's awesome.
Yeah, on Podcoin, you earn their digital currency, Podcoin, just for listening to podcasts.
That sounds easy.
It is. You can then donate your Podcoin to charities who will get real money donations. And you can also choose to save your Podcoin over time and exchange it for other rewards like Amazon and Starbucks.
That's great.
Who doesn't like Starbucks?
I hope no one.
Yeah.
Because I love Starbucks.
Yeah, they'll give you gift cards right
cool.
there.
And you could donate those gift cards too.
You could, yeah. So download Podcoin in the App Store or in Google Play and use our special code GHOSTLY to receive 300 Podcoins just for checking it out.
Awesome.
Yeah. All right. So we're back.
Woohoo.
Yeah, so New Orleans is an amazing city. Walking through the French quarters really makes you feel as if you were in a different location, like a different country or something, or a completely other time period. And you could feel the magic dripping off of every building and every resident there.
Ooh, every resident. I like it.
Yeah, all the people walking amongst you, you just feel, it feels like something different there. I know you weren't there since you were, or you haven't been there since you were a child.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if we've talked about this. I know, I was only there when I was 12, so I know that I did not experience it as fully.
Yeah.
But how about you?
I've been there a lot, a bunch of times. I love New Orleans.
Okay.
It is definitely one of my favorite places to go. It feels like almost like a second home to me because I've been there so much. I started to know the bus schedule when I would go to vacation there. Yeah, I started to know, okay, that's going to come at 1 o'clock.
Wow.
So I got to get there. Yeah.
That's crazy.
It is. So that's when I stopped going there as often because I was like, no, this is starting to just not feel like a vacation anymore.
Were you hard partying?
I did some partying there.
Ooh,
yeah, I would say in my
wow.
day I did some partying, but I'm not the biggest partier.
You're not. That's why I'm surprised.
I was more there for the history.
Okay.
And more there for the lore of New Orleans.
So is that what inspired you to suggest this episode?
Yes.
Okay.
I actually went to New Orleans on Halloween once, and I went to the Voodoo Museum and had a reading done.
Nice.
Where a woman gave me a reading based upon some bones that she had.
Okay. Do you remember what she said?
Yes. She said that we will be recording a ghostly episode. No, she, she did the basic, it was like a cold reading kind of thing where she felt out what I was, saying and what I agreed with and what I disagreed with. I don't think it was anything really serious, but it was definitely, it felt special to me to do that.
Okay. So that's a skeptic story of getting a reading.
Yeah, the skeptic side of it. So to understand fully who Marie Laveau was, we kind of have to look at what voodoo is and what it isn't. Because there's a lot of misconception about this, a lot of misunderstanding.
Yeah. I mean, for me, I've just always thought of it as like scary, dark. There's this old movie called The Serpent and the Rainbow, which is terrifying if you're looking for a good scary movie. And there's a bunch of voodoo in there that's super creepy.
Well, I have experienced voodoo firsthand, and I'm going to talk about that a little bit.
Ooh, exciting.
So
about Pat Day.
Yeah. In the time of Marie Laveau, there were a lot of slaves from Africa in New Orleans. They brought with them a form of what we now call voodoo, which was originally called voodoo.
Mm-hmm.
Also, there was a revolution in Haiti around that time that sent immigrants to America, including New Orleans. Now, New Orleans, the style of voodoo there is more closely related to the African form.
Okay.
But it does have some Haitian kind of overtones to it. So voodoo was oftentimes outlawed by the wealthy Christian politicians of the day. So a new form of voodoo came to be. It was called Louisiana or New Orleans voodoo, which mixed the African voodoo and the Haitian voodoo with a little Christian flair to it. They used a lot of Christian deities, a lot of saints and stuff.
I gotcha. So then it was like more acceptable, maybe.
Yeah, or they could hide it more.
Oh, that makes sense.
A lot of the voodoo songs that they would sing were sung to Christian music.
Oh,
and stuff,
okay.
like that were gospel songs.
I
They would
gotcha.
also make them into voodoo songs.
Okay.
In my experience with magic, which I have had some, I mean, I was pagan and I did do a lot of spellcraft and stuff.
Yes, folks, you just heard Pat admit that he's done spellcraft.
Yes, I have. I've done a lot of it. I have a huge life behind me.
Yeah, your minds are
just as
all
much
just
in front.
blown,
Yeah.
and I know it's a lot to deal with.
I think we've covered
it's
this
Pretty
in-
shocking.
I think
You've
we've talked about it.
alluded. I don't think you've ever really talked about this part of you before.
Okay. Well, yes, I used to be pagan, and as I said, I have nothing against pagans right now. It's just not my way. I believe that we all have different paths to get to the same destination, and mine is just different. That's all.
Do I need to be nervous? Like
About
that you're going to
what?
do a spell on me or something?
How do you know I haven't yet?
Oh my gosh.
And I got you to co-host Ghostly with me.
People.
All right. So in my experience with magic, though, it is never purely white or black. There is no, the good witch, the bad witch. There is nothing like that. It's somewhere in between black and white. It's like a shade of gray. What that means, though, is that it's never 100% wholesome or 100% dark. When people do spell work, they must often think of how this will affect not just themselves, but the people around them and the entire world that they live in. For instance, if I was to do a spell asking for money, where does that money come from? And how does it come to me? These are questions that I should ask myself. Oftentimes, there may be someone that loses money for you to gain money. But that's true in everything, right?
That sounds like a Twilight Zone episode or something.
No, it's very much not. It's very much not. It's very, I want to demystify this whole entire thing. It's like if you go to church and you pray, that is the equivalent to spells to a pagan.
Whoa.
Yeah. That is.
I'm not sure if all Christians would feel that way, but maybe.
Well, I mean, it's praying to a different God. That's all, in a different way. It's using symbolism. It's a lot of symbolism. And I'm sorry if I offended anybody by that, because there will be pagans that will say, no, I totally am the white variety witch. I am this, I am that. In my experience, I'm only talking in my experience. And prayer is a form of spell work to a pagan. They might do a spell that just involves a prayer.
So interesting.
Yeah.
It's like the craft come alive.
Spellcraft is not this dark art that people believe it to be, nor is voodoo. Most voodoo rituals involve a lot of song and a lot of dance. What's wrong with song and dance?
Nothing.
Except if you're recording Footloose. You're not allowed to dance unless it's the final scene, right? I've had the honor of attending a few voodoo rituals as well. When I was a pagan, the store that I used to buy my spell ingredients from was a voodoo store.
Again, more. We're learning more into the world history of Patrick.
Yeah.
This is insane.
Well, it's a part of who makes me who I am today, and really is where this belief of stuff comes from, and kind of why I started questioning things.
Wow.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, I actually attended a voodoo ritual in New Orleans before.
Wow.
Yeah, and Marie Laveau was not there, sadly.
Oh, yeah, bummer.
I've gone to her tomb.
Okay.
I've put my X's on her tomb, which we're going to talk about.
Wow.
And yeah.
Well, someday maybe we'll have to go. You'll have to experience it one more time with me.
Well,
you can,
absolutely.
Take me to the voodoo store.
So in voodoo, they believe strongly in spirits, both good and bad, and they get advice from these spirits. That's basically what voodoo is. Now, there are some dark parts of voodoo. They do some cursing and stuff, whereas a lot of Wiccans would believe that if they harm none, they can do as they want. That's not exactly the same thing in voodoo. But, I mean, we all kind of have done some kind of curse in our day where we wish somebody bad. I don't like that part of me, but I've, sat there with teachers and stuff and go, man, I just, wish that they were sick today and couldn't do this test for me.
Wow.
You've never felt that way?
Well, there was an old coworker that I really didn't like, so sometimes I suppose I wish she could get a taste of her own medicine. But then I would always remind myself, no, that's not good because whatever, then it's just going to happen to me.
Yeah, karma.
Karma.
So it's really hard to do a history of Marie Laveau because her story is surrounded with a lot of legend and a lot of lore. But I'm going to do my best to state some facts that are not argued about her life.
Okay.
Except for the first one. Because I have Marie Laveau's birthday as September 10th, 1801. If you check 20 different websites about Marie Laveau, you're going to come up with 20 different birth dates.
Yeah, and like I was looking up her parentage because I thought that was like a for sure thing.
Yes.
Yeah, no, it's like different on every site.
Yeah. So we can't really. Yeah.
I was gonna put it in the history, and then I was like, nope, I can't because I don't know.
Yeah. Well, she was born a first-generation free black woman in the French quarters.
That is true.
Yes, I know. I did the research on this. So she was, her grandmother, I believe, was owned by a black person.
Oh, okay.
In those days, it was not unheard of for a free black person to buy their own slaves, and were typically kinder than white people were to their slaves. And Marie Laveau actually owned slaves as well.
Oh, okay.
Even though she was a free black woman. She married Jacques Paris?
Jacques Paris.
Jacques Paris.
And Jacques, a.k.a. Jacques
Santiago. I love that name. So he was from Haiti. Their marriage certificate is actually in the St. Louis Cathedral in New Orleans. Ooh. So there is proof of her existence.
Documentation. All right.
Let me also tell you this too. While I was in New Orleans, I discovered that some people that are born on the bayou and in a lot of rural areas in New Orleans are undocumented.
Meaning
they don't exist to the government.
Oh, like they don't have a birth certificate?
They don't have a birth certificate or a social security number or anything, and they live their whole lives without it.
Yeah, that's not just in New Orleans. There's other places, a lot of off the grid parents will do that. I just read this book, Uneducated. Excellent book, but she did not have a birth certificate till she was like third grade or something.
Well, it's crazy. I mean, the bayou is so removed from the U.S. It feels totally like something different. So the marriage for Marie and Jacques Paris, was short-lived though, and Jacques was marked missing.
Dun, dun, dun.
But the crazy thing is that the very day that he went missing, Marie Laveau started to call herself a widow.
Ruh-roh.
Yeah, so I don't know. Maybe it was a little darker than what I'm thinking. To make ends meet, Marie Laveau became a hairdresser. This was probably one of her best moves that she ever did, because what this did was this gave her access to not just to do hair for black people, but to do hair for some of the white people as well. And she would get information from this. And she would also meet people that would become her clients when she got into voodoo.
Honestly, I think this is still true. It's still a good call to be a hairdresser. It's a great career.
Yeah.
You meet a lot of people. You get to rub elbows with people you wouldn't meet otherwise, hear a lot of great stories. And then, you could turn it into a voodoo practice where you blackmail people or claim to know things about them.
So are you condoning this? As a career specialist, are you saying that people should get into voodoo?
No, I'm saying that hairdressing or being a salon owner or salon worker, whatever, stylist, that's the word I'm looking for, is not a bad career move.
So Marie used this information that she obtained when they became clients or when she got rival clients for her voodoo. So Marie Laveau's mother was most likely a practitioner of voodoo. We don't have documented evidence of that, but most likely it was kind of one of those things that was carried on from generation to generation and still is. It is very familial.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is very familial. But Marie Laveau learned a lot of what she knew from a voodoo priest named Dr. John.
Ooh.
Sounds spooky, huh?
Definitely.
Dr. John.
Yeah. I don't want to meet Dr. John.
In Marie Laveau's practice of voodoo, she would often give advice to people, and she would hold rituals that were for her parishioners that involved a lot of dancing and singing. But she also sold what I would call mojo bags. What did you call them? Gigi bags? Gigi
or
bags?
Gree bags.
Gree bags,
That's
yes.
what I had read.
Same thing, mojo bags. It's the same thing. That would help the person that bought it achieve certain goals, like make money, win lawsuits, triumph over rivals, and whatnot.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. Marie Laveau became famous because she did a lot of community charity work, and she was seen as a healer. She would nurse people with yellow fever.
Yeah, that was a big outbreak, right?
Yeah, there was a big yellow fever outbreak, and Marie Laveau was not afraid to come in contact with these people, where a lot of times people in these kind of diseases and stuff, people will shy away from them. It happened, to us even recently with like Ebola and stuff like that. But she was not afraid. She would go right to these people and she would help heal them. She would post bail for free black women as well.
Wow.
Yeah, and she prayed with prisoners in their final hours. So, in most accounts, she was a pretty decent human being. Most of the time, I guess, unless she killed her husband, Jacques.
Right. We don't know.
So Marie Laveau was smart and charming and would use this information that she obtained to help her gain even further popularity and acceptance. She also used intimidation tactics when she had to.
Oh.
A lot of times in the courtrooms and stuff like that, because she did have a couple of court appearances.
Okay.
And she used some intimidation tactics and probably blackmail as well.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah. She was known as the Voodoo Queen, and in her early years of having this title, it was not contested. But it was in her later years.
Yeah, that always happens. Those upstart rivals, they show up trying to take your title.
Yeah. Like the Ghostly Queen.
Right.
Someone's going to try to
become
the new co-host of Ghostly.
Right? Yeah, you're going to do some spell. Get rid of me. Get some new co-host in here, but it's not happening.
It's not?
No.
Okay.
I'll do a counter spell.
So one story I would like to talk about a rival of her. This was in her later years. There was a rival that built a huge voodoo doll in her backyard. It was like a statue almost.
Wow.
Yeah.
You're not hiding that.
No, she did not want to hide it because it was actually like an intimidation thing as well.
Okay.
And people feared this. It struck fear in the town people.
Yeah. Yeah, your next door neighbor, you look outside one day and they're building this huge voodoo doll. That'd be scary.
I grew up with a Buddha in someone's backyard where I lived.
Yeah, but but Buddhas are like meditation. Nice. This is like something you stick a pin in to like cause someone pain.
It would have to be a really big pin because this was a huge voodoo doll. So Marie Laveau stole the statue.
Nice.
Or doll or whatever we want to call it. And was actually taken to court for it. But because Marie Laveau was so well loved and feared, criminal charges never really went anywhere, and the statue was ordered to never go up again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Marie Laveau got remarried, though. or not necessarily remarried. She was just with a guy.
Oh.
Because he was a white man and there were laws that forbid them from getting married.
Well, I gotcha.
Then.
So partnership.
I guess, yeah. Well, I mean, that was just an insane law, but yeah.
Yeah.
So this is kind of, so she had 2 children with Jacques.
Okay.
2 or 4.
Okay.
He was only around for 2 years though, so
yeah,
I don't know.
I'm falling on the 2 side.
Yeah, but I've heard different things.
Mm-hmm.
Guess how many children she had with this new guy?
No idea.
15.
Whoa, she was busy.
She was really busy throughout the rest of her life. One or more of them was actually named Marie Laveau II.
Yeah, there were multiple Marie Laveau, but she would like give them different middle names or whatever, which this is a thing. Like my grandma actually was named after her mother. They actually had the exact same first and last name.
Yeah.
It just like we think it's like a male
there always
thing.
Must be this person in this world.
Yeah, like it's like we think it's a male thing, like to have the junior or the third. But no, women do it too. They just don't bother with the junior and third part. They just want to make it as confusing as possible. Like they just were always here.
Well, Marie Laveau II ended up continuing Marie Laveau's work after she died.
Okay.
So she was not as well liked, but she was as much feared.
Okay.
Because the police of the day refused to arrest her for dancing naked for white men because they were afraid she would put a spell on them.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Well, I think that's part of why there's some confusion, right? Because there's Marie Laveau I and Marie Laveau II.
Yes.
Okay.
There are both of them, and it does get confusing in some of the stories. Marie Laveau died on June 15th, 1881.
This is Marie Laveau I.
Yes.
Okay.
She died at the age of 79 years old.
Wow.
Which in those days was unheard of.
Oh, yeah.
She was one of the oldest women in New Orleans in
Probably.
that time, yeah. It is said that she died with a wicked smile on her face. She was believed to be laid to rest in the New Orleans cemetery named St. Louis Cemetery No. 1, although there is some speculation about that.
No.
I believe it to be true.
Okay. Yeah, I had read that the Catholic Church said that she couldn't be buried in the family tomb, that she had to be buried like outside of it and couldn't be marked with the Catholic stuff because she was a Catholic. Like, I mean, she practiced voodoo, but she did work with the Catholic Church and like considered herself a Catholic as well. But I've only read that in one source, so I'm not going to say that's
We're not going to
true.
cite the source even?
I think it's the church itself. I forget.
Oh,
I don't
okay.
remember. I'll put it in the notes, but
Put it in the notes.
yeah.
So people would put an X on the site of her believed tomb.
Mm-hmm.
This is to ask for favors of her. And the legend goes that you put an X or 3, because oftentimes they're in 3. It's a big thing with magic. On her tomb, turn around 3 times, again 3, and knock on her tomb and state your wish. You would usually have to yell this wish out loud.
Yes. Okay.
That's what typically was done. And if it comes true, you're supposed to put a circle around the X. So her tomb has been vandalized a couple of times.
It sounds like it.
One of those times, people poured pink paint on it.
Oh.
That was recently, actually.
Wow.
And the voodoo people in New Orleans were really upset because to get the pink paint off of there, the way that they chose to do this, like sandblasting or something like that, actually removed the X's.
Ooh.
So, yeah, they were really upset by this.
Sure.
Also, this is kind of, I did not know about this. And now that I do, I kind of chuckle a little bit to myself. On October 17th, 1982, 4 members of the band, the Misfits, as well as, I believe, 15 other people, were arrested for trying to dig up her remains. But they went to St. Louis Cemetery No. 2. Also, since New Orleans cemeteries are above ground, due to the water tables being so high, bodies would float away whenever it rained. This mixed with the very hot temperature means that the bodies are all but ashes after 2 years. They're ashes after 2 years.
Yeah.
So there would be nothing for them to dig up.
No, well, yeah. I mean, her ashes.
Yeah, but they were probably mixed with others. I mean, there's a lot of people in that tomb.
Yeah.
All the Laveau family.
Mm.
So, how about we take another quick break before we get into the debate?
Yeah, that was a lot of history. Okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Hey, Pat, fall is in the air.
Ooh, yeah, it is.
Yeah, and that means cooler weather, football, and of course, shopping.
Shopping?
Yeah, back to school shopping, starting college shopping. I got a new job shopping, new season shopping. I just like shopping.
Oh, okay. I get it. Change means time to get some new stuff. And I bet our listeners would like some ghostly gear.
Oh, yeah, great idea. What kind of gear are we talking about?
I don't know. How about some ghostly t-shirts and sweatshirts?
Yeah, and not just ones with the ghostly logo, because those are really cool. But how about also hashtag Team Believer to really show our team colors?
And hashtag Team Skeptic, of course. So we've got men's and women's styles and even kid and baby sizes.
So cute.
It is very cute. And I also added a phone case and a water bottle.
Nice. Where can our listeners get all this great ghostly gear?
That's pretty easy. If you want to get ghostly gear, just go to ghostlypodcast.com and click on merchandise up at the top.
Perfect. Go to ghostlypodcast.com and click on merchandise to get your great ghostly gear.
All right, so we are back, and it is time for the great debate.
Woohoo! Everybody's favorite. All right, so there's a lot of, obviously, stories about Marie Laveau's ghost. So I've narrowed it down to kind of 3 areas.
Okay.
So the first is actually her grave and tomb. I thought that might be a good place to start because you just mentioned something in the history that I thought might be good for us to talk about, which is this idea of putting the X on her grave.
Yes.
And I read knocking 3 times, but I have also read turning around 3 times, state your wish. And then I also had heard that not just do you come back and put a circle on the X, but you have to leave her a tribute.
Yeah, a lot of times they leave the tribute beforehand, too.
Well, that would make sense.
It's like to pay her to do it, because I don't think she would wait until after she was done doing something for payment.
That's probably
true. She wasn't that kind of woman.
Yeah, that's really true. She'd expect payment up front. So I will say I was not able to find any stories online of people who claim that she granted their wish. So I was wondering, you said that you did this.
Yes.
What happened?
Nothing. Nothing happened. Yep, nothing happened. And also, too, I would like to bring up that I have a picture of the tomb, which we will put up on our show notes.
Yeah.
From back, this was 2004, I believe.
Was this before the pink paint?
Yeah, that was like 2012 or 2013.
Okay, good. So we can kind of see what it was.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And there's a lot of X's on it. Not many of them are circled.
Interesting. But there are some that are circled.
No, I don't think there's any that are circled in my picture. I'm trying to remember what it looks like, but I remember looking at it and thinking, wow, that's odd. There's not many circles on it.
Yeah. Well, I'm guessing there's at least a few circled. Otherwise, that wouldn't be part of the legend.
I don't think in my picture and many pictures that I've seen. I mean, I'm sure that there are some with things circled, but that doesn't mean that they necessarily came true. People might have misunderstood what they were supposed to do, too. Yeah, they might have just saw an X with a circle and decided that was what they were supposed to do.
Well, I would say my thought is there's probably some people that it came true, but some of that is also like part of spell work or part of magic that we've talked about is this idea of focus. You know what I mean? Like you focusing on something that you want to be true and kind of putting it out into the universe. And so maybe you're doing it through Marie Laveau, but I guess I would say my number on this one's kind of low.
Yeah, so I was gonna ask you for your ranking of this.
Yeah, I'm
So
gonna.
1 to 10.
Yeah.
1 being, or 0 to 10, let's say.
Mm-hmm.
0 being absolutely don't believe it.
Mm-hmm.
10 being, oh my God, this is fact.
Right. I'm gonna give this a 2.
A 2.
Yeah, as far as like it working, I mean, I think it'd be fun. Man, maybe a 3. Again, I think if you really push at it hard, but I don't think it's Marie Laveau doing it so much as just like you putting it out, energy out into the universe, kind of a thing.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say too. I was gonna say that I was gonna give this maybe a 2 or a 3 as well, and that was my reasoning too. Is that sometimes you do these kind of things out of need.
Yeah.
I did a spell once because I lost my dog.
Oh.
And I wanted to find my dog, and it was he was gone for a whole weekend.
Oh, poor puppy.
And I was really scared. He was, really docile, and he was, probably not the most aggressive dog. So I was afraid he wasn't going to make it out there. And I did the spell, and after the weekend, he was located. Now, did my spell work, or was he going to be found if I didn't do the spell work?
Oh, we'll never know.
Yeah, we'll never know.
All right.
But he jumped into someone's car, in someone's van, because
puppy.
he loved people so much.
Oh, a puppy.
Yeah.
So one more thing with her tomb,
Okay.
is that people will often associate Marie Laveau with a black crow. So if
Okay.
they say there'll be a black crow either sitting on her tomb or flying over it, or they'll say that they even see like her figure or like black mist by her tomb. In fact, I think one of the people from Bob After Dark that is, I don't know if he's the one that's coming with us or going to be on our live show, but posted on Facebook about this, that there's like that he's seen like
Anthony?
mist. Yeah. Coming from behind her grave, or maybe just that he's heard people say that.
Well, oddly enough, I did see a black crow when I was there.
See?
I remember this because it landed right on top of her tomb, right in front of me. But still, my wish didn't come true. I guess my trinket wasn't big enough.
Well, I know that's I think that is like, I guess some people say that's like her like listening to you or whatever, but more often it's just that's her. Like that the crow is her, that she morphed into a crow.
Oh, okay.
When she died.
And then she went after Edgar Allan Poe.
That's a raven.
It all ties this back
that
together.
That is a raven, which I've recently learned those are different birds.
Yeah.
Crow versus raven. But anyway, so, okay. Well, I was going to maybe go with like a 6 for this one, but now I'm going 8 because you saw the crow when you were there.
Okay.
So I'm seriously, that's crazy.
All right. But my thing is that I saw a crow. I mean, why does that necessarily mean that that's her? Who decided this? Where's the proof that this is her?
Well, because a lot of people, like over the years, that's like a constant thing. If crows are always landing on her grave, well, then that's because that's like her symbol. That's her.
No, crows land on a lot of those graves there. They are above ground, so it's like a whole little city there, and there's crows a lot. There's a lot of crows in the area. I don't think that this necessarily means that, that's her. Because, I mean, like I saw the one crow that landed on top of her tomb, but you know what? There was like 5 crows around the area, so all 5 of those crows are her?
No, but the crow, like seriously, I do think, I'm not saying that she's always every crow, but like I do think that that's like her spirit animal. And, a lot of people will tell stories about that, that their loved one passes away and they always had a liking for a particular animal or something. And then when you see that animal, like it feels like it's a message from them.
Yeah. Well, oddly enough, this week, maybe a day or two ago, I was woken up by it felt like 30 crows outside my place, and they were like screaming.
Wow.
They really wanted to be heard.
That's a murder of crows right there.
It is, definitely. So I'm going to put this at a 1 for me because to me, there's no correlation between this crow and being her. Like if she had said at one point in her life, hey, I'm going to come back as a crow and I will land here and do this, then okay, then I'm going to put that up to at least a 4 then. But no, I mean, it's a crow.
All right. You want to move on to her house?
Yes, I do want to move on to her house.
Okay. Her house is on St. Anne Street, and I know you're going to love this one. So she's often seen strolling down St. Anne Street by her house or just around the house in a long white dress with the white 7-knotted handkerchief that she wore in life.
Woman in white.
Woman in white. And just as a specific story, several places that I went claimed that she was seen sitting outside her house on the steps right after Hurricane Katrina, weeping.
Interesting. Well, I am on Google right now, and I Googled Marie Laveau's house, and both of the houses I have been by.
Okay.
But there are 2 different locations that I can't tell which one is which one is actually her house. The first one looks more like it, and it's a gray building. But, I don't know if I could see that being from the early 1800s or something. But, okay, so what I'm going to say, though, is that I think that New Orleans, when you go down there, it definitely does make you feel something, make you feel that you have been transported to a different time, to a different era. It's a whole different world there, and it's all in the U.S., which is unbelievable to me. And I could definitely see how being there, walking in front of her house, would make you feel something. And I will tell you this, that the first house, if that is it, the one that I'm looking at, the gray house, it does not look like the houses around it. It's definitely something different.
Yeah.
But as I said, I am not sure. The other one is like a brownish building, which I've been to. I want to say it's like a voodoo house now.
I was going to say, I think that's like more like the museum or the
I've
shop.
been there too. I think that might have been where I had my reading, or right next door to that. I know you had to go through like a courtyard and go. It's very European in its styling, where not everything is in the same like house. You have to leave the house, go through a courtyard, do something.
Yeah.
Turn 3 times, knock on the tomb, and then you're there.
Yeah.
So I could definitely see why people would feel that way, but I definitely do not believe that Marie Laveau is there. I believe that this is the energy that people feel because they're walking by someplace very different in a very... Just being there, you would have to go there. You feel something in the air at all times there. It doesn't mean Marie Laveau necessarily. And the thing about Katrina, as sad as it is, Katrina was horrible for New Orleans. It changed it completely. I've been back since, and it's not the same place as it was before. But, I really think it was just people relating the story of Marie Laveau to Katrina. I don't think it has anything necessarily to do with Marie Laveau.
I do think that, to me, I do believe that she has been seen. There are a lot of stories out there. I didn't pull a bunch of individual stories, but, people seeing a figure, not realizing it's her until after, or just kind of seeing something, a shadow. But to me, there's a lot of them. And I mean, part of it, I guess I will say this, some of the stories people will say there's no specific indication it's Marie Laveau. It could be a different spirit, but it's definitely spirit activity. but because it's around her house, it's just kind of automatically assumed to be her. And I think she was such a strong person in life that it just makes sense to me that her energy would still be around.
Well, I just think it's the community associates Marie Laveau with New Orleans, and they should. I mean, she was a part of its history. She helped New Orleans. You know, she was actually national news. She wasn't just local news in New Orleans. That's the reason why we talk about her still to this day.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe that the community just associates that with New Orleans, and I believe that's a great story talking about Katrina. But I don't think that was her. I think that the person either made it up or was hallucinating or something. I just don't believe that. I'm sorry.
No, I would say the one about Katrina, I would give it a lower score.
Yes.
But let me just give you two other spooky things that happen at the house, and then we can kind of vote. Right?
Oh, well,
give our
okay,
rankings.
give your rating.
Yeah,
okay, yeah.
Just because sometimes it's not just seeing a figure. Sometimes people say they see a black mass above the home and smell sulfur. Which, that is a little spooky because that's like, we always associate that with like fire and devil. They will also say that they see a black cat, which is the ghost of her cat named Henry, which is adorable because I love black cats. They will also see a rooster pecking at the roof or the yard, but that the animals disappear when you approach them.
She also reportedly had a snake named Zombie.
Yes, I've read many stories with that. That's spooky. So I don't know. What do you think? Would you say her house is haunted? Taking out the Katrina story, we'll keep let's make that a separate thing.
I think the Katrina story gives it more credibility. Actually,
really,
it associates it with an event.
Okay, we can keep it
with
in
the
there.
Katrina story, I'd give it a 4.
Okay,
I would say I'd be willing to go as high as a 4, just because of the feeling you get when you're there. But this is all of New Orleans. This is not just her place.
Mm-hmm.
It's all of New Orleans, and the sulfur smell can be related to a lot of different things going on in that area at that time. There might be someone that owns the house to this day that does voodoo in the house, that is lighting stuff with matches and stuff, creating that smell. So that to me isn't so much the cat. I don't know. I don't really ever believe that people transform into animals after they die.
No, I think it's the ghost. It's supposed to be the ghost of her animal, not of her.
Okay. Well, yeah, I don't know. I would love to come up with some great debate for you for this one, but I don't really have one. I'm just going to say that I just want to mark this one as I don't believe it. And this is the first time I'm hearing about it. So, I mean, I didn't have time to prepare a written statement about this particular location and stuff, but I'm sorry, but I will give it a 4 because I believe that area is rich with magic.
Okay, well, I'm going to give it a 7. Like I said, there are several stories of things happening at this house throughout the years, not just recently. And it just, again, like I said, I do believe she seems like has some pretty strong energy, did a lot of things at this house. So, yeah, for me, it's a more believable
So what was your score again?
7.
7, okay.
Yeah.
We're not far off, though.
No.
Yeah.
So I have one last story.
Okay.
And I couldn't pass it up. There's stuff about her like dancing in the bayou or whatever, but I had to tell you the pharmacy story.
Okay.
Okay. So this is from the Encyclopedia of Ghosts and Spirits.
Okay.
One alleged Laveau ghost sighting stands out. This is a direct quote. So this is Talent is the last name. It's Robert Talent, author of Voodoo in New Orleans. It was a book written in the 40s. Okay.
Right.
So Talent relates the story of an African-American named Elmore Lee Banks, who had an experience near St. Louis Cemetery No. 1. As Banks recalled, one day in the mid-1930s, an old woman came into the drugstore where he was a customer. For some reason, she frightened the proprietor, who, quote, ran like a fool into the back of the store, end quote. Laughing, the woman asked, quote, "Don't you know me?" end quote. She became angry when Banks replied, "No, ma'am," and slapped him. Banks continued, quote, "Then she jumped up in the air and went whizzing out the door and over the top of the telephone wires. She passed right over the graveyard wall and disappeared. Then I passed out cold." End quote. He awakened to whiskey being poured down his throat by the proprietor, who told him that was Marie Laveau.
All right. Well, I'm wondering if he had whiskey before he went down too. This just seems a little out there. So okay, first of all, I want to know what your number is before we even do this. What do you rank in this story as?
I'm giving it a 6.
A 6.
A 6, yeah, because there's actually several stories where she slaps guys. So I think.
So you like any story where a girl slaps a guy? That's what you're saying.
Well, I'm just saying that just seems in character for her. It's right by her place, and I could see a spirit. Like if a spirit was still walking the earth, thinking that it's still alive. Walking into a store that maybe they used to go to, whatever, used to be, it's just that a spirit acting that out and getting upset that they don't recognize her. And then, zooming off after slapping him.
Okay. Well, my thing is that, all the other people didn't say anything. So this guy said that he got slapped and knocked out. And they didn't say anything about it. They just ran. That was it.
The proprietor took off, man, when he saw Marie Laveau walking in his store because he's like, she's dead.
Yeah. I mean, but wouldn't there be a lot more accounts of this, though, besides just his account of this?
Well, I don't know.
I have not heard anything else about this.
If the proprietor ran out, he wouldn't have seen it.
Yeah. Well, there were customers in the store though too, right?
I don't know. It didn't say. It just says he was a customer in the store.
Oh, okay. So he was a customer, and I see. I thought he worked there.
No. He was a customer.
Okay.
The owner, the proprietor, ran
Yeah.
into the back when he saw Marie enter.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, you know what they used to sell at these pharmacies and stuff, right?
No.
They used to sell the good stuff.
In the 30s?
I don't know about the 30s, maybe.
Maybe.
But yeah, so you know what? I just, this is just a little bit out there for me. First of all, to think of physical contact with a spirit. And I know that there's people that say that they've been scratched by spirits.
Yes.
And been harmed by spirits. I have never experienced anything like that where I can say legitimately this has actually happened, where a spirit can touch you. You can feel it. And not only that, she had enough power to knock this guy out.
Out
Cold,
out
where he had to be woken up
cold.
with whiskey in his mouth.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I give this a 1.
A 1. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
This is probably the least believable out of all of them to me. It is a cool story, though, but to me, just me. You guys believe what you will. I want you to.
Uh-huh.
But you know what? I think maybe we should just go on to some closing arguments.
Let's do it.
All right, Rebecca. I am going to give you 1 minute on my timer on my phone so that you have your last chance to talk to the people and to sway them to your side, to get them to vote with #TeamBeliever.
Yeah, we got to win this one.
And I am not allowed to interrupt you during this.
Nope.
Although it's always tempting.
Closing argument
I never
time.
do.
Okay.
And also, I am not allowed to debate what you've debated in that. This isn't that.
No.
These are closing arguments to wrap up our case of
You got it.
Are you ready?
Yes.
All right. And go.
Marie Laveau haunts New Orleans. New Orleans is a very different kind of city. It is a place where I believe spirits feel welcomed to be. She herself believed in spirits, welcomed spirits, communicated with spirits, and I believe that when she died, her spirit stayed, especially since her daughter continued to practice. I think that helped keep her spirit energy close. It's persisted a long time through a lot of things. People have seen her, have seen animals that represent her or were her animals. There's like I said, there's so many stories out there that to me, it just makes sense that her energy would still linger on. I got it. I'm done.
Oh, you're done. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I'm finished early this time.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, why don't you hit that timer for me?
All
Let
right.
me do my closing arguments.
Let's do it. You ready?
Yes.
And go.
So I have no doubt in my mind that New Orleans is filled with magic. But magic doesn't always mean spirits. Magic is a feeling that we have that connects us to the earth. Magic is very grounding. New Orleans is a very grounded area. It is an area where people feel free to do whatever they want. They drink on the streets. They go to all of these bars. They sing, they dance, they show off nudity in these areas. Mardi Gras. This is a very magical place, but I don't think it's because of Marie Laveau. Although her presence will always be felt, I do not believe it's her spirit's present. I believe it is just that she's influenced it so much. And that's all I have to say.
All right. Wow. Okay.
All right. So, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't go into this episode thinking it would be such a packed story.
Oh yeah, no. I had never really heard it. I had heard maybe the name before, but I didn't know her story. And whoo,
yeah, definitely. New Orleans is a great location, and we are gonna have so many more New Orleans ghost stories to tell you in the future.
Oh yeah, there's one I'm thinking of right now. I'm excited.
Yeah. You can just feel ghostly in the air down there, right? Mhm. Our next episode is going to be great. So, we always talk about how excited we are for the next episode. But that's just it. We love bringing these stories to you and researching them to get them to the core of the story.
Yeah, no, it's seriously, that's I love finding out new things. I like research. It's fun.
Yeah, when I went into the Marie Laveau story, I knew some things. I did not know everything, and that's why I wanted to do it, is because I wanted to research out that, and I wanted to have a reason to do that.
Yep.
You guys give us reason.
Yeah.
So the next episode will be coming out on August 21st, and I am really excited about this one, too.
This was your idea.
This was definitely my idea. It's the 27 Club.
Yeah, and I did not know what this was when he said this. I mean, I had heard of it. I just didn't know that was what it was called.
You want to tell them what it's about?
Okay, well, have you guys ever heard about how there's all these musicians and actors and basically stars that all die when they're 27?
27.
27. So I guess that they're actually called the 27 Club. And it's basically a question of, is there a curse?
Yeah. Is there a reason why these people have died at the age of 27? Did they sell their souls to become as great as they were?
Only to have them taken away. Ooh,
spooky. So make your plans to listen to that episode. Make your plans to come out to see us in Elgin if you're around the area at the Elgin Fringe Fest on Saturday, September 14th at 6 p.m. at the Blue Box Cafe.
Yeah.
And until next time, as always, stay ghostly.
Bye.